Tuberville, Senator Tuberville, as always, sir, great to see you. I'm hearing these rumors. One thing, the Laffer curve is one thing. I'm hearing rumors that Republican senators are going to take the one big, beautiful bill and split it up into three parts. I can't. I mean, we had this debate months ago. I can't imagine getting three reconciliation bills through Congress. But you tell me, what's going on here with three parts?
Well, first of all, Larry, we all need to read the book titled JFK and the Reagan Revolution, written by Larry Kudlow himself. I think a lot of us up here have read that book, Larry. It's a great book.
Thank you, sir.
But there is a lot of Republican senators up here that would love to see more than one big, beautiful bill. There's some pluses and there's some minuses. But at the end of the day, we've gone the long way, and let's go ahead and get this done if we possibly can. I think it's going to be very tough, though, Larry. There's a lot of reform that has to be put into this bill, not cuts, but reform. The SALT agreements have to be really looked at because I'm telling you, at the end of the day, we've got a lot of people that do not want to raise those SALT limitations to a higher standard, you know, for mostly the big blue states. So I think tomorrow, President Trump coming here at 8:30 in the morning, as we just heard, is a warning signal that something's not going very well over in the House to get this thing pushed to the Senate.
I mean, you want to get these tax cuts done. July 4th is fine. Memorial Day, March 31st would have been better, but whatever. July 4th is fine, okay? Get them done and take effect. The withholding rates will change. The depreciation rates will change. We'll get the overtime pay and the tax-free tips and so forth and so on. We'll get growth into the middle class, the blue collar, the working folks coalition. You want to get it done as soon as possible. I can't imagine dilly-dallying through the rest of the year with three bills or whatever and risk a $5 trillion tax hike.
Yeah, we can't do that. It'll be disastrous. And again, going back to the Laffer curve, we all know, everybody understands, the more you lower taxes, the more money that comes into the federal government. And we have to understand that. A lot of people don't believe that. Democrats keep fighting back on that. But as you said, it has been proven right. So let's get this done. Let's let President Trump have his tax cuts that he ran on. We need to do that. But if we don't get a tax bill done in the very near future, it won't get done this year, and it will be a disaster for the Republican Party.
Yeah, yes, sir. On another matter, more pleasantly, Supreme Court backs Trump on ending temporary protected status for 350,000 Venezuelans. So President, and they can be deported now. They're not protected, they can be deported. That's a nice win for the president, is it not?
It's a huge win, Larry. I've been to Colombia, where all the Venezuelans were coming across back in the day when we're having 3,000 to 5,000 people come through the Darien Gap up to the United States of America. It was a disaster, and we did not get the good ones. A lot of the Venezuelans stopped in Colombia. They took 3 million themselves. But the ones that really didn't want to stay, they pushed them right on out. They came up through the Darien Gap, and now they're here in the United States of America, and we are in trouble in a lot of our cities because they do not go by American laws.
Yeah, it's a good win. It's a good win for the president. Hopefully there'll be more wins so he can institute the policies that he was elected to institute. Another point, Russia, Ukraine. So I don't know, Mr. Trump is sort of taking a positive spin on his telephone conference with Vladimir Putin, but the reality is not quite as good as what he says. What are you hearing about this and this idea about a meeting in the Vatican, Pope Leo XIV? I don't know. I guess it's as good a place as any. But what's happening? What on that front? What can you tell us?
Well, being on the Armed Services Committee, Larry, for the last 3 years, we've been eating, drinking, and living this disastrous war that has been in Ukraine. Now, Russia started it. We could have finished this. There should have been negotiations, but Vladimir Putin now is gone. He's to the point where he's taken so much land, he's making so much progress. Why would he make a deal? He has got the cards in his hand. Biden had the cards in his hand very early, but now we've lost all the cards, and Vladimir Putin is going to want a lot from the Ukrainians. He's going to want a lot in terms of land, the things that are going on there in terms of possibly even Odessa, He's going to want Crimea, but he's going to want NATO to stay away from his borders. And I can't blame him for that. 100%, we don't need to be on their borders, and he's asked that for years.
So would you recommend at this point secondary sanctions on Russian oil? That means any parties that purchase Russian oil cannot do business with the United States, period, end of sentence, full stop. Would you recommend that?
I think after this phone call, if something's not done, they're losing 3,000 to 5,000 people a day in Ukraine. We cannot continue this all-out massacre is what's happening. And so President Trump will make the decision on whether to do that or not. If he thinks it will help save people's lives, he probably should do it and will do it. I don't know whether that's going to happen. We'll have to leave that up to the president. He is on top of this all the way. He understands it. He didn't really realize how bad out of control it was until he got into office. They have lied to the American people. The media's lied. Even the rhinos and the neocons in the Republican Party have just pushed this war over the top. And again, we've gotten a lot of people killed that shouldn't have lost their lives. Let's make a deal and get out of this. I don't care what it costs. All these generals have been telling us all along, oh yeah, Ukraine can win this war. They never could win the war because they have not the people to fight this war against a Russian army that has them outnumbered, 5 to 6 to 1.
Yes, well, just a slightly different subject, another one, Senator, for your wisdom. I think, Mr. Trump needs soon to be able to announce several trade deals, okay? I mean, the messaging out of the administration is not terrific. No one's quite sure what's going to happen. There are rumors about India, Vietnam, possibly more in Southeast Asia. One hears about Switzerland. It just seems to me they've got to deliver some trade deals mighty soon for that policy to have any credibility.
I agree with that. 90-day freeze on China was very good. Scott Bessent, I've got full belief in him. Howard Lutnick, everybody that's involved in this, Jameson Greer. It's a good team. I think they will slowly start pushing these people across the goal line. I think at the end of the day, when we get 2 or 3 weeks down the way, you'll start having more and more of the smaller countries that will say, this is what we need to do. We're going to jump on board the United States. We hold the cards. So let's get China where they need to be. Again, I believe in Scott Bessent, our Secretary of Treasury. I think he will get it done in the very near future. Not a long ways away. I think we're going to have a lot of great news.
On China, just last point, Senator, on China. Okay. The argument has been, we had the phase 1 deal with China in the first term, and China, and I was on that team, Bob Lighthizer was our team leader and so forth. China ignored it. They ignored it through COVID, and they ignored it through the Biden years. Now, some people are saying that China ignored the phase 1 deal because Joe Biden was the president. But I just have a point here. That phase 1 deal was signed by President Trump on behalf of the United States government. So I'm not going to let China off the hook just because Joe Biden was president. I know Mr. Biden was a bad president. And by the way, he's got this cancer issue, and we all wish him well. So I'm going to leave that part alone. But I'm just saying, we need to be tough with China. We need to, that phase 1 deal was signed. That should be included in any new negotiations. I haven't heard that, but I think it should be. You can't let China off the hook just because we have a change of administrations in this country. That was a deal they reneged on with the U.S. government. And China is our great adversary and enemy, in my opinion. What do you think about that? I don't want to go soft on China, Senator Tuberville, not one bit.
I totally agree with you, Larry. Let's don't forget their past missteps, and that was a big misstep. They just forgot all about it. Joe Biden, we all know that he wasn't running the White House, but the people behind the scenes, his advisors, they should be held accountable for this, 100%. And again, President Trump understands this. He's the one that made this deal. He's not going to let them forget it, Larry. He's going to hold their feet to the fire, and he's going to do the right thing for the American people. And we have to understand they are our biggest adversary, and we got to stop this nonsense of stealing of everything that we have, whether it's intellectual property, anything that goes along with the military. We are having a very tough time catching up with China if we don't hold their feet to the fire.
Yes, indeed. All right. Senator Tommy Tuberville, thank you for your wisdom, sir, as always.